What if everything you've ever thought, felt, or done didn't just impact your immediate surroundings, but left an indelible, invisible, energetic footprint on the very fabric of reality?
Hmm.
An imprint that accumulates over time, influencing generations to come, subtly altering the templates we're born into.
It's a concept that feels incredibly ancient, doesn't it? Echoing through spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
Yet it resonates strangely with some cutting-edge ideas in modern science, too.
It really does. It speaks to a profound, almost unsettling level of interconnectedness.
Yeah, the idea that we inherit more than just biological traits through our genes, but also subtle, unseen energetic patterns from the collective human experience.
Implying that consciousness itself is actively shaping a kind of subtle environment around the planet.
Exactly.
Huh.
Which is, well, it's a massive idea.
And that idea is precisely the core of what we're diving into today. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Glad to be back.
We've been handed some truly fascinating source material from one of our listeners specifically, an article titled Clearing Earth's Morphogenetic Field, a Multidimensional Approach.
A multidimensional approach. Okay. Sounds ambitious.
It is. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the complex concepts presented in this source material about Earth's morphogenetic field and these things called energetic templates.
Right.
We want to understand how, according to this source, distorted patterns and imprints might accumulate within these fields and, crucially, explore the concrete strategies the article suggests for actively participating in clearing and upgrading these patterns.
And not just on one level.
No, not just individual, but also planetary and even galactic scales.
Wow. Okay, so galactic too. It's a wild ride, drawing on insights from spiritual traditions like Theosophy and concepts like the Mahatma energy.
Side by side with some complementary ideas from science, touching on epigenetics and quantum biology. It's quite a mix.
Yeah, it really is. So the goal here is to provide a clear, structured understanding of these intriguing ideas as they're presented in the source.
Exactly. We're exploring the map laid out in this article.
We're aiming to give you, our listener, a framework to consider how these concepts might fundamentally shift your understanding of reality, and perhaps more importantly, what, according to this material, one might actually do about it.
In a very practical sense, yeah. Even if it's on an energetic level.
Right. What are the potential actions?
Okay, let's unpack this, starting at the very beginning, with the foundational concepts laid out in the source material. What exactly are we talking about when we use terms like morphogenetic fields and energetic templates?
Good place to start. The article jumps right in by referencing the work of Rupert Sheldrake.
Morphic resonance, biology.
That's where the biological aspect comes in, yeah. Sheldrake proposed that organisms don't just inherit physical traits genetically,
Right.
but also a kind of collective memory from previous members of their species. This memory isn't stored in the DNA alone, apparently. It resides in what he called morphogenetic fields.
Okay, so non-physical fields.
Non-physical informational energy blueprints. That's the idea. They guide the form and behavior of living things. The core idea is that once a pattern or behavior is established by some individuals in a species,
Like learning something new.
exactly, it becomes easier for subsequent generations to replicate it because this invisible field carries that informational imprint.
Oh, like the classic example of birds learning to open milk bottles or something like that.
Sort of, yeah, or rats learning mazes. Once one group figures it out, others seem to learn faster, almost like the how-to is out there in the field.
Huh, okay. And the source explains that spiritual traditions take this idea and expand it dramatically,
Way beyond just biology.
applying it to human consciousness and karma.
Precisely. Within various spiritual frameworks, this field isn't limited to physical shape or simple behaviors. It's seen as holding the energetic imprints of humanity's collective thoughts, emotions, actions, intentions.
Over vast stretches of time. Millennia.
Millennia, even. Every single thought, every feeling, every deed, according to this view, leaves an energetic residue, contributing to this vast collective template.
So we're constantly co-creating it.
Exactly. Humanity, through its aggregate consciousness, is actively co-creating an ever-evolving informational and energetic layer around the Earth. It's not just a passive archive, it's an active influence.
Okay, so the morphogenetic field is this collective memory, this informational blueprint. How does the term energetic templates fit in? The source mentions the work of Barbara Brennan.
Ah, yes, Barbara Brennan, a big name in energy healing.
Right. Her work explores the human energy field, the aura.
And she describes several layers. One of the most foundational is what she calls the etheric template. This layer is seen as a very precise blueprint for our physical body,
Like really precise, down to the cell level.
outlining organs, tissues, systems, down to
Yeah.
the cellular level, yeah. Even before the physical form fully develops, the template is supposedly there. And the source explains that if this etheric template becomes distorted, maybe due to unprocessed emotional trauma, persistent negative thought patterns, or other energetic blockages.
Those distortions,
Right.
they don't just stay energetic.
No, they can potentially manifest as physical or psychological issues in the body.
Ah, so the energy field provides the initial pattern or instruction set, and if that pattern gets corrupted or off-kilter, the physical manifestation can also be off.
Exactly, that's the core idea. And a central concept in energy healing, supported by Brennan's model, is that by identifying and correcting the distortions in the energetic template,
Clearing the blockages, restoring the original blueprint.
right, you can potentially prevent physical disharmony from solidifying or support healing. In this view, illness isn't just a physical breakdown. It can be seen as a disconnection from our true, perfect spiritual template.
Leading to these energy field blockages.
And then subsequent physical symptoms. It's cause and effect, but starting energetically.
Here's where it gets really intense because the source zeroes in on the problem. The accumulation of these distorted imprints. It uses a very strong phrase, calling karmic imprints twisted energy patterns.
Yes, that phrasing is striking, isn't it? According to one spiritual healing tradition referenced in the article, these distorted imprints aren't just abstract concepts or historical records. Tangible energetic forms that lower our overall vibrational frequency contribute to what's often called the shattered aspects of humanity, things like collective anger, fear, prejudice, greed.
The heavy stuff.
Exactly. And, quite remarkably, the source claims they can even alter our DNA expression.
Alter DNA expression.
Oh,
Okay, that is a significant claim. We need to unpack that later.
Definitely.
So we're talking about real-world examples of these distortions accumulating in the field, like the lingering energy of fear-based beliefs.
Yeah.
The deep imprints of trauma from wars or historical injustices, ancestral wounds carried down through families, or persistent collective thought forms of scarcity, separation, conflict, all that stuff.
Right. The source posits that these aren't just events that happened in the past. They leave energetic residues that compound over long periods,
Like layers building up.
accumulating as old karmic and astral imprints in Earth's field. These accumulated, twisted energy patterns then resonate out,
Influencing the present.
potentially perpetuating cycles of suffering by subtly influencing new souls as they incarnate onto the planet. It's like a feedback loop where past suffering feeds present difficulty.
And this brings us to the profound idea of inheritance that goes far beyond just genes. The source suggests that a newborn soul doesn't just receive a genetic inheritance.
No, there's more to it, apparently.
They also subtly inherit familial karma through the DNA, and perhaps even more broadly, the collective karma or energetic imprints of Earth itself upon incarnation.
Which is a heavy thought when you consider, well, human history.
Right, and this is where the scientific connection comes back in, specifically epigenetics.
Yes, this is where the source draws that compelling parallel, and it's fascinating. Epigenetics. It's the study of how factors like behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work without changing the underlying DNA sequence itself.
So it's not changing the code, but changing how the code is read.
Exactly. Think of DNA as the hardware, and epigenetics as the software or the switches that turn genes on or off or dial their expression up or down.
Okay.
What epigenetic research has powerfully demonstrated is that traumatic experiences undergone by a parent or even a grandparent,
Wait, even grandparents?
yes, can leave biological traces, these epigenetic marks on the DNA, that are then passed down to children and grandchildren.
Wow.
These marks can affect, for example, how the body handles stress, even if that subsequent generation didn't directly experience the original trauma.
So science is providing evidence for a mechanism by which we inherit echoes of past stress or dysfunction through a system, these epigenetic marks, that functions like a template layered on top of the basic genetic code.
That's a good way to visualize it, yeah.
That study mentioned later in the source, showing altered stress hormone profiles in children of Holocaust survivors. That's a very poignant and real-world example of how trauma can be inherited through these non-genetic means, isn't it?
It's incredibly powerful evidence. It shows a biological pathway for trauma transmission across generations.
So both the spiritual framework of karmic imprints on energetic templates and the scientific findings of epigenetic inheritance of trauma point towards this idea.
That the energetic and even biological templates we step into at birth can carry the echoes, burdens, and patterns of the past. We are, in a sense, born into a field already charged with history.
which feels
Mhm.
potentially overwhelming. But it leads us to the solution proposed in the source material, the possibility of consciously clearing and overriding these templates,
Yes, the active part, not just being subject to them.
deliberately engaging in processes to rewrite these accumulated energetic blueprints.
Yes, the esoteric definition of template override, as presented in this material, is essentially the act of invoking higher vibrations, pure divine patterns, or conscious intention to supersede and dissolve these old, distorted programs.
It's not just erasing the past.
No, it's more like installing a new, healthier, more harmonious software update for your personal reality.
And by extension, contributing to the collective field.
Exactly. Updating the whole system one node at a time or maybe even wholesale.
And the source introduces a specific, powerful aid that's apparently available to humanity now to assist with this monumental task, the Mahatma energy.
Ah, yes. The Mahatma energy, sometimes referred to as the avatar of synthesis. It's a significant concept within modern ascension spirituality.
Right.
And this source highlights it as a key tool for this clearing work. It's described as an extremely high-frequency cosmic light or presence.
Cosmic, so not originating from Earth?
Apparently not. It became accessible to Earth relatively recently, specifically since the harmonic convergence in 1987.
Okay, I remember that event being significant in New Age circles.
Very. And the purpose of this Mahatma energy, according to the source, is to dramatically accelerate spiritual evolution on the planet.
What makes it so uniquely suited for this clearing work, according to the source? Why this specific energy?
Well, it's described in rather grand terms. An amalgamation of all 12 divine rays, connecting back through 352 levels of consciousness directly to source itself.
Whoa. Okay, that's abstract, but sounds powerful.
It does. But the critical distinction the source makes for its use in clearing Earth's field is this. Because it is said to be newly accessible and has not been filtered or interacted with extensively by human consciousness over long periods.
It hasn't been muddied by us yet.
That's the idea. It carries no distorted memory within Earth's existing field. It's described as being free of any historical misuse, human error, or intention that could have twisted other spiritual energies over time.
Like maybe other energies have been invoked for not so great purposes in the past and carry that imprint.
Potentially, yes. So when the Mahatma energy is invoked or channeled, it encounters virtually no built-in resistance from the old, distorted patterns in the field.
That's a fascinating idea. An energy that can flow into these heavily imprinted fields without triggering the old resistance patterns they might hold on to, like a clean solvent for energetic gunk.
Kind of, yeah. And the source claims that as an avatar of pure, unconditional love, the Mahatma energy has the capacity to dissolve even the most entrenched, hardened thought forms, karmic patterns, and deep-seated distortions.
So it doesn't just bypass resistance, it actively dissolves the old patterns.
It effectively overrides them with a much higher frequency template of unity, synthesis, and pure source light. It's presented as a top-down override.
So the path forward, as this source material lays it out, involves consciously engaging with this concept of clearing and overriding these templates.
Taking an active role.
And it suggests we can do this work on 3 interconnected scales, starting within ourselves as individuals
The microcosm.
and working together on a planetary level.
The collect.
And finally, aligning with energies and forces on a galactic level.
The macrocosm. Okay. That's the structure the source proposes, moving from the most immediate and tangible, our personal energy field, and then expanding outwards to the collective fields we share.
Right. Let's dive into section 2 then, starting within individual level practices. The core principle the source emphasizes here is that clearing the world's energy must begin with the individual. You are the microcosm.
Absolutely. It has to start there, doesn't it? Our personal aura, our subtle bodies, our consciousness, these are seen as direct reflections and components of the greater field.
So by purifying our own energetic template, addressing our own distorted thoughts, unresolved emotions, inherited karmic patterns,
We not only liberate ourselves from those loops of suffering, but we also stop feeding distorted energy into the collective matrix. It breaks the cycle, personally and collectively.
it's the fundamental truth behind the Hermetic principle, as within, so without. Healing yourself is healing the planet, in a very real energetic sense, according to this view.
Couldn't have put it better.
This leads directly to the idea of spiritual hygiene. It's presented as being just as essential as physical hygiene for maintaining health, but on an energetic level.
Right. Just as we recognize the need to regularly cleanse and care for our physical bodies to prevent illness, the source suggests we must regularly cleanse and balance our energetic bodies.
Makes sense. We wouldn't go weeks without showering, hopefully.
Hopefully. And Barbara Brennan's work, referenced again here, provides insight into why this is important energetically. She observed that unprocessed negative thoughts, unresolved emotional traumas, or limiting beliefs, they don't just stay in our minds.
They become physical, well, energetic gunk.
They can form palpable congestions, blockages, and distorted shapes within the aura. If these energetic blockages are left unaddressed, they can eventually manifest as physical symptoms, psychological issues, or persistent negative life patterns.
Which means, according to this view, energy healers, or those sensitive to energy, can potentially detect these issues in the field before they show up as physical problems.
Offering an opportunity for intervention.
A chance for template correction at the energetic level.
Exactly. You have the chance to dissolve the distortion in the blueprint stage before it solidifies into physical form.
So what are some practical techniques?
The source outlines several foundational techniques for daily or regular aura cleansing. These include grounding, consciously connecting your energy field to the earth.
Like imagining roots going down.
Yeah, to discharge static negativity and absorb stability and vitality. Chakra balancing is another key one, ensuring your main energy centers are clear, spinning, and aligned.
And using tools.
Using tools like smudging with sage or Palo Santo, or using sound vibrations from singing bowls or tuning forks, which are said to physically break up stagnant or heavy energy in the field.
And visualization methods are presented as powerful tools anyone can use. They seem pretty accessible.
Yes, simple yet potentially effective techniques, like imagining yourself standing under a shower of pure golden white light that washes away all unwanted energy.
Or the violet flame. I've heard of that one.
Visualizing a violet flame around you, transmuting any dense or dark spots in your aura into light. The consistent practice of these methods helps keep your personal morphogenetic field resilient, preventing attachments from forming and clearing away emotional debris, like daily maintenance.
Okay. A particularly powerful individual practice the source highlights connects back to the cutting edge of neuroscience. Meditation, specifically aiming for states associated with high coherence or gamma brainwave frequencies.
Ah, yes, the gamma state. This is where the spiritual and scientific perspectives really converge in the source. Gamma brainwaves, they oscillate between 30 and 100 hertz typically. They're the fastest known brain frequencies.
Faster's better here.
In this context, they're associated in neuroscience research with moments of peak cognitive function, insight, deep integration of information, and importantly, states of profound awareness and spiritual insight.
The source mentions research on advanced meditators like Tibetan monks in this context. What do they find?
Yes, studies conducted at places like the Mind and Life Institute have shown that experienced meditators, particularly those engaged in practices like loving-kindness meditation or deep compassion.
So specific types of meditation.
It seems so. They can produce abundant and sustained gamma oscillations, sometimes called gamma bursts or gamma activation. This high gamma activity has been found to correlate strongly with feelings of universal love, altruism, a sense of interconnectedness, and what meditators often describe as expanded or non-local awareness, a feeling of oneness.
So cultivating these gamma states, or gamma activation as the source calls it, is presented as a kind of direct, energetic, and neurological antidote to the fear-based or separative patterns.
The ones so deeply ingrained in the collective field.
Exactly.
How do you cultivate gamma?
By regularly practicing techniques that help you access and sustain gamma-associated consciousness, like focused loving-kindness meditation, conscious breathwork, often leading to altered states, or even using specific brainwave entrainment audios.
The binaural beats and things like that.
Potentially, yeah. You are, according to this material, literally training your brain and your entire system to resonate at a higher, more coherent frequency. The source suggests that this gamma state isn't just a side effect of advanced practice. It's key to unlocking full human potential, enhancing intuition, and supporting spiritual development.
And the practical application for clearing distorted templates. How does gamma help with that specifically?
Well, when you are in these heightened states, especially those suffused with compassion and unity, you are flooding your being with a high-frequency, coherent energy.
Okay.
This state, according to the source, effectively overrides personal fear imprints, limiting beliefs, and even karmic residue with a template of love, clarity, and interconnectedness.
So it's like overwriting the old code with better code.
It's not just a mental shift. It's described as a psychospiritual and even potentially a neurobiological template override. The research suggests it can transform your neural networks and positively impact epigenetic expression.
So positive states can literally flick the switches on healthy genes. We're back to epigenetics.
We are. It all seems interconnected in this view.
And that personal shift has a radiating effect, you said.
Exactly. Your coherent high gamma state isn't contained within your skull. It's said to radiate into your personal energy field and, by extension, contribute to a more coherent collective morphogenetic field for others.
That figure description from the source illustrating gamma spikes during meditations on compassion, that sounds powerful.
It is, showing a measurable link between a specific conscious state, compassion, a brainwave frequency, gamma, and the experience of unity and bliss. It highlights how intensely personal inner work has a verifiable, if subtle, external impact.
Another crucial aspect of individual clearing the source connects back to the epigenetics we discussed earlier, the vital importance of healing personal and ancestral trauma.
This is a really profound link, and maybe one of the hardest parts of the work for many people.
I imagine.
As science, through epigenetics, demonstrates that traumatic experiences can alter gene expression via these transmissible epigenetic marks, passing down generations. The source draws a direct line to the spiritual idea of karma, unresolved emotional energy or ancestral patterns being transmitted not just energetically, but potentially through these biological energetic links via DNA.
So the trauma isn't just a memory, it's potentially written into our very biology and energy field through these epigenetic mechanisms.
That's the connection the source makes. This work, the source argues, is what we aim to interrupt and heal.
So engaging in practices like therapy, deep shadow work, to integrate unconscious aspects of self, or energy healing focused on trauma release, these processes aren't merely acts of self-help or personal well-being.
No, the source explicitly frames healing your trauma as a form of planetary service.
Planetary service, that's a big reframe.
It is, because every time you bravely confront and heal a personal wound, every time you break a destructive familial pattern, whether it's related to abuse, addiction, poverty consciousness, fear, whatever it is,
You're stopping it in its tracks.
you are actively preventing that pattern from cycling into the future. You are interrupting its energetic resonance in the family line and potentially stopping its epigenetic inheritance.
That poignant study on the children of Holocaust survivors showing altered stress hormone profiles. It really drives home what we might be carrying and passing down if we don't do this healing work.
It's a stark reminder, absolutely.
But the source also offers immense hope here, emphasizing the plasticity of our brains and souls. We're not stuck.
Not at all. That's a core message of empowerment. Through conscious inner work, whether it's therapy, meditation, energy work, or a combination, these deep-seated, even inherited imprints can be cleared and rewritten within yourself.
You are not condemned to repeat the past.
Exactly. Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, frequently cited in this space, strongly supports this.
The biology of belief guy.
That's him, highlighting that we are not passive victims of predetermined genes. Our beliefs, perceptions, and consciousness are primary drivers that govern our biology by influencing gene switches.
So by consciously choosing thoughts and feelings of love, safety, and unity over fear and separation,
You send profoundly different chemical signals through your system, directly affecting which genes are active or dormant. It's mind over matter, potentially down to the genetic level.
So mind reprogramming, consciously identifying and overwriting those old limiting tapes of victimhood, anger, lack, or unworthiness with new, empowering, and healthy beliefs aligned with the reality you wish to experience is presented as a powerful form of individual template override.
It absolutely is. It's a deliberate act of choosing a different, higher frequency energetic blueprint for your internal world, knowing that your internal state directly impacts your external reality and adds to the collective field. You're rewriting your personal code.
And finally, the source returns to invoking higher energies as a direct, potent individual practice for clearing and accelerating this process.
Yes, bringing in help from, well, higher frequencies. And the Mahatma energy is highlighted again here as a primary tool.
How does one invoke it?
The source suggests a simple but powerful invocation, framing it as an affirmation. I am the Mahatma. I allow the Mahatma energy to flow through me and ground into Mother Earth.
I am the Mahatma. That's quite a statement.
It signifies identifying with that energy, allowing it to work through you. Regular use of this invocation is said to dramatically speed up one's personal spiritual ascent, described as potentially 1,000-fold faster than traditional methods.
1,000-fold. That's optimistic.
It's a strong claim, certainly. The idea is it works by simply infusing your system with this highest available frequency light.
And because it's positioned as a direct bridge to source, it's like calling in a universal override code for your personal karmic knots and lower frequency imprints.
That's the metaphor, yeah. Practitioners often report experiencing a significant cleansing or purging period initially.
The healing crisis idea. Things getting worse before they get better.
Something like that. As deeply held, old densities are brought to the surface to be released. But the source emphasizes that consistently invoking this energy, even for short periods daily, leads to a higher baseline frequency, accelerated purification, and contributes to the building of one's personal light body.
Are other energies mentioned?
Yes, other energies individuals can work with include the powerful violet flame of Saint Germain from Theosophy for transmuting negative energy.
Right, transmutation.
And the pure gold-white light of one's own I am presence or higher self for centering and alignment. Barbara Brennan's Halara and Core Star techniques are also referenced.
For aligning with your core essence.
Methods for aligning with one's divine spark for a fundamental template reset, bringing all fragmented aspects of the self into alignment with the soul's true blueprint.
Okay, so if we were to summarize the key individual level recommendations from this source material, they would include, let's see, establishing a daily energy cleansing routine.
Grounding, visualizing light, maybe smudging, that kind of thing.
Practicing meditation specifically aimed at cultivating gamma activation and heart coherence.
Loving kindness, compassion focus.
Engaging in deep emotional healing and shadow work.
Therapy, journaling, forgiveness, inner child work, confronting the tough stuff.
Consciously reprogramming limiting beliefs.
Affirmations, maybe NLP techniques, leveraging Lipton's ideas about belief affecting biology.
And regularly invoking higher energies.
Like the Mahatma, violet flame, or connecting with your IOM presence, using these tools consciously.
These practices, according to the source, are the fundamental steps to breaking your personal karmic cycle and transforming yourself into a ripple of clarity, or a pillar of light within the collective field.
Nicely put.
It strongly echoes that idea of the 100th monkey effect or Sheldrake's morphic resonance, the concept that once a critical mass of individuals embodies a new state of being, a new behavior, or a new frequency.
It becomes energetically easier for others to access and adopt it. The path gets paved, energetically speaking.
Exactly. Your personal evolution isn't an isolated event, it's an act of service. By purifying your own template, you are uploading positive, high-frequency data to Earth's morphogenetic field.
Making it easier for the next person.
Energetically clearing the path and making it easier for future souls to incarnate into a cleaner, lighter, energetic environment. That's a powerful motivator.
It really is. It gives personal work a much larger context.
So, if healing ourselves has this ripple effect, what does this all mean on a larger scale? Let's expand our scope and move into Section 3. Working together, planetary level service.
Okay, shifting focus now from the individual microcosm to the collective field we all share as humanity and as inhabitants of this planet.
The source makes a very strong point here about the immense power inherent in collective action.
Yes. While individual work is foundational, when humans unite with a shared high-frequency intention focused on peace, healing, love, they can directly influence the larger planetary field we all share.
In a way that's more than the sum of its parts.
In a way that is synergistic and exponential, according to this view. Many spiritual and wisdom traditions teach that group meditation, collective prayer, or synchronized ritual creates a powerful energetic effect that is far greater than the sum of individual efforts alone.
And the source points to modern research to support this idea specifically, the studies on the Maharishi effect.
Right, the TM studies. These involve practitioners of transcendental meditation coming together in large groups.
And they looked at social statistics.
They statistically correlated specific, measurable drops in societal violence, crime rates, and even indicators of collective stress in the surrounding populations. One of the most frequently cited examples is a study where a large assembly meditating for peace in the U.S.
When they reached a certain number of people.
When exceeding a certain threshold size relative to the population, it correlated with a statistically significant 20–30% reduction in murder rates in multiple cities compared to ongoing trends in control cities.
That's a remarkable correlation, suggesting collective consciousness can have a tangible effect on social patterns. That's mind-bending, really.
It is. The explanation offered by the researchers and echoed in the source is that individual minds are not separate islands. They are connected to an underlying universal field of consciousness.
The unified field, some call it.
Exactly. When many people access and enliven this field together with a coherent positive intention like peace or calm, that collective coherence radiates outwards,
Imprinting the field.
impressing a degree of order and calm onto the collective morphogenetic field, influencing thought patterns and behaviors in the wider population.
So group coherence literally acts as a force to cleanse and uplift the collective energetic template. It's like a psychic cleanup crew.
That's the core idea. And various spiritual groups have been consciously working with this principle for a long time through dedicated planetary healing rituals.
Like the Theosophical tradition's use of the Great Invocation.
Exactly, that's mentioned. A powerful world prayer intended to be recited daily by thousands globally,
What's the aim?
specifically aimed at invoking light, love, and harmony onto the earth and dispelling what they call glamours, the fear, hatred, illusion, and greed that create distortions in humanity's collective astral and mental planes.
So actively trying to clear the psychic smog.
It's seen as a form of energetic scrubbing of the planet's subtle atmosphere. Indigenous cultures also hold deep wisdom in this area.
Right. Ceremonies for the land.
Centuries-old ceremonies, drumming circles, sweat lodges, sacred dances, land blessings aim specifically at healing the land and fostering unity and balance within the community. These rituals are often performed at geopower spots or sacred sites,
Power spots. Like vortexes or something.
seen as anchoring points in Earth's energy body, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Effectively acting like spiritual acupuncture on the planetary meridians.
Planetary acupuncture. I like that image. Earth grid work is highlighted as another potent form of planetary service. What does that entail?
Yes, this builds on that idea. It's based on the esoteric teaching that Earth herself has a crystalline energy grid or network of ley lines and nodal points.
Like the human meridian system, but for the planet.
Analogous to that, yes. These nodal points, often marked by ancient megalithic sites or natural power spots, are seen as crucial intersections in the planetary energy system.
So what do people do there? Or with them?
Energy workers and groups can gather at these sites or connect remotely through focused intention to anchor high-frequency light and healing visualizations
Which then spread through the grid.
that are then said to spread through the entire grid network, carrying the healing intention.
Like visualizing immense pillars of pure white light or golden light descending into these nodal points and radiating outwards along the lily lines.
Flushing out accumulated astral garbage
The collective psychic pollution.
and distorted imprints from the planetary field. Exactly. And this extends to synchronized global meditation events, often facilitated by technology.
Like online groups meditating together.
Yeah, where people around the world focus simultaneously on sending love, peace, or healing energy into the planetary grid or the collective human heart field. Participants in these events often report sensing a palpable field of peace or love emerging during the designated time.
I've heard people describe that feeling.
The source identifies this kind of work as a form of morphogenetic field engineering, the conscious use of collective consciousness to imprint the global field with desired higher frequencies.
Morphogenetic field engineering, that sounds very deliberate. Anchoring cosmic energies, particularly the Mahatma, is also seen as a vital planetary level service.
Absolutely, bringing in that specific high-frequency energy for the planet. The Mahatma energy, or the avatar of synthesis, is considered a highly effective tool specifically for channeling and anchoring incoming cosmic energies for the direct benefit of Earth and humanity.
So individuals and groups act as channels.
Act as conscious conduits, yeah, making the affirmation to allow this energy to flow through them and ground into Mother Earth.
Always with the caveat.
In accordance with the highest divine will and their own I Am presence. Important qualifiers.
And visualizing the planet being bathed in that immense platinum or golden light from this energy. What's the intended effect?
By doing this consciously, the source suggests, we assist Earth in integrating this extremely high purifying frequency. Grounding the Mahatma into Earth's grid points and collective field saturates areas of darkness, density, and distortion with a light that faces no built-in resistance.
Because it's new energy.
Right. Effectively offering Earth a new, clean template of unconditional love, unity, and synthesis to overwrite the accumulated distortions. The source emphasizes that even a few minutes daily by a sufficient number of individuals can create a cumulative and powerful transmutation effect across the globe.
helping to raise the baseline frequency of the planet itself.
That's the goal.
Beyond formal practices like meditation or grid work, the source stresses that even simple selfless service and compassion in action contribute significantly to this planetary clearing.
Yes, this is important. It's not just about sitting on a cushion. Every single act of kindness, every choice rooted in compassion, every effort towards unity and understanding.
It adds to the positive side of the ledger.
It contributes to the collective field by feeding it with higher positive vibrations. Humanitarian efforts, environmental protection, fostering community connection, acts of forgiveness. These are not separate from energetic work.
They are energetic work.
They are, according to this material, crucial, powerful contributions to the collective energetic template.
Barbara Brennan observed that a genuinely activated heart chakra, radiating unconditional love, acts as a powerful gateway for spiritual energy to flow through a person.
Right. And when many hearts activate in compassion simultaneously, whether through focused prayer, group service, or simply embodying love in daily life,
It creates a resonance.
it propagates a powerful resonance of love that can literally transform the astral atmosphere of the planet, helping to dissolve the collective glamours. This aligns with Teilhard de Chardin's concept of the new sphere,
The sphere of thought around the earth.
an evolving layer of human thought and emotion around Earth, which is consciously being uplifted towards unity and enlightenment, according to that idea.
Okay, so to summarize the planetary level recommendations from the source, participating in synchronized global meditations for peace and healing,
Leveraging that critical mass effect.
engaging in planetary prayer and invocation,
Like the great invocation or visualizing light enveloping the planet, sending metta.
practicing earth grid healing,
Visualization, visiting sacred sites, sending Reiki or blessings to the land. The acupuncture idea.
anchoring high-frequency light into the planet.
Specifically invoking Mahatma for Earth or using the violet flame for the collective consciousness.
And consciously fostering collective coherence.
Through community activities, group prayer, chanting, or even projects like HeartMath's Global Coherence Initiative, which tries to measure this stuff.
At this level, we step fully into our role as conscious stewards of Earth's energy body.
Recognizing our deep interconnectedness, that healing her is inextricably linked with healing ourselves. You can't separate it.
The results of this work aren't always immediately visible, the source says, but suggests looking for subtle signs of shift.
Yeah, peaceful resolutions to conflicts, appearing unexpectedly, widespread collective awareness shifts on critical issues like the environment, maybe even reports of more gentle weather patterns in certain areas, though that's harder to pin down. Synchronicities.
It's about consciously aligning with what Theosophy refers to as the new group of world servers, people dedicated to this work.
Becoming active, deliberate participants in Earth's morphogenetic evolution, essentially helping to midwife the birth of a higher collective consciousness for humanity and the planet.
Midwifing a new consciousness. Quite a role. Okay, let's scale up one last time. We move to the largest context discussed in the source. Section 4. Tapping the cosmic current galactic level alignments and support.
Right, the biggest picture. Our planet isn't floating in isolation. It's embedded within larger cosmic structures. Our solar system, our galaxy, the universe, all influenced by vast cycles and energies.
Indeed. Many esoteric and spiritual teachings across various traditions assert that Earth is currently undergoing a grand, divinely orchestrated cosmic alignment and energy influx,
A big shift.
specifically intended to catalyze a quantum leap in consciousness. These teachings often speak of phenomena like the photon belt or significant galactic alignments.
Concepts that sound pretty out there to mainstream thinking, but are central here.
The source specifically highlights the galactic alignment of 2012 as a major event in this process.
Yes, 2012. From a metaphysical perspective, this alignment was widely seen by many as the symbolic or energetic end of a major cycle, linked, for example, to the Mayan calendar's long count.
And the beginning of a new era for Earth.
Right. Astronomically, around the December solstice of 2012, the sun appeared roughly aligned with the plane of the Milky Way galaxy's equator,
Which mainstream science acknowledges happened, but
generally downplays any physical effects on Earth. However, spiritual interpretations, as presented in this source, ascribe profound energetic implications to this rare event, which occurs roughly every 26,000 years.
what are the implications, according to this view?
The source explains that when our solar system aligns in this way at the galactic equator, it positions Earth directly in the path of a powerful stream of subtle energies emanating from the supermassive black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy.
often referred to esoterically as the galactic center or the galactic sun.
Exactly. And in the specific configuration around 2012, this influx was said to be amplified by a rare energetic alignment forming an equilateral triangle between the galactic center, Sirius.
Sirius, the dog star, considered important.
Considered a greater central sun, influencing our solar system in these teachings, and Alcyone, the central sun of the Pleiades star cluster, our local cosmic neighborhood.
So galactic center, Sirius, Alcyone, forming a triangle.
This specific alignment, according to the source, acted like a cosmic aperture, opening the floodgates for a massive influx of spiritual energies onto Earth.
Many people have certainly felt the year since 2012 have been characterized by accelerated change, upheaval, and breakthrough. Things feel faster, more intense.
The source interprets this period as precisely the effect of this high-frequency light pouring into the planetary field. It's fleshing out all that was stagnant, hidden, or resistant.
Stirring the pot, basically.
Stirring up the accumulated darkness, karma, and distorted imprints so they can be confronted and healed. Our conscious task during this accelerated time, according to this material, is to actively ground and integrate this incoming light to assist in the transmutation of the old template.
Not just write it out, but work with it.
Precisely. The photon belt is another concept from New Age lore the source introduces as part of this cosmic picture.
Okay, what's the photon belt?
It's described as a vast region of space filled with extremely high-frequency light particles, or radiation, often linked conceptually to energies emanating from the galactic center or the Sirius star system.
Is this recognized by science?
Not as described here, no. It's not part of conventional astronomical models, but it serves as a potent metaphor within the spiritual framework for the intensified, purifying energy environment the planet is said to be moving through as part of its galactic journey.
And the effect?
If Earth and its inhabitants are prepared for this energy, it's said to magnify evolution. But if not,
It can accelerate breakdown.
accelerate the breakdown of negative patterns. The source mentions the fall of Atlantis, estimated around 10,000 years ago, as a potential parallel.
To a previous passage through a similar intense energy field where things went wrong.
That's the implication. According to this narrative, Earth entered the fringes of the photon belt influence around 2009, with the intensity increasing in stages since.
How do you consciously engage with something like that if it's happening?
The source suggests recognizing and embracing these incoming cosmic frequencies. This involves consciously attuning during times of intense cosmic activity, like significant solar flares, meteor showers, or planetary alignments,
Using those times intentionally.
and setting a clear intention that these energies be used for the highest good to accelerate the clearing of old patterns, release what no longer serves, and anchor the new Golden Age templates. It's presented as a process of surrendering to a profound cosmic upgrade happening on a vast scale.
Okay. Looking for potential bridges between these spiritual concepts and science, the source briefly mentions cosmic rays and the emerging field of quantum biology.
Right, trying to find some scientific resonance. Cosmic rays, which are high-energy radiation from outer space, constantly bombard Earth's atmosphere. They are known to interact with matter and can even induce mutations in DNA.
So, could they trigger change?
Some speculative scientific theories and many spiritual perspectives wonder if these high-energy cosmic inputs could have played a role in triggering evolutionary leaps over geological time. It's an open question.
And quantum biology. That's the
Yeah.
idea that quantum mechanics might be operating not just at the subatomic level, but in biological processes within our cells.
Exactly. It's an emerging and debated field exploring how quantum phenomena like superposition or entanglement might play a role in biological functions.
How did that relate?
The source suggests that
Almost like our consciousness and DNA could act as galactic antennas, tuning into cosmic broadcasts.
that's the idea put forward. That we might be inherently wired to resonate with high-frequency cosmic waves, whether they are purely physical forms of energy or more subtle vibrations, if we are conscious enough and refined enough energetically to tune in.
And this resonance could manifest as what?
Sudden creative insights, activation of dormant psychic abilities, or even spontaneous physical healings, essentially. A biological template override, prompted by cosmic input. The universe helping us upgrade.
Galactic-level support also comes, according to the Theosophical teachings and many channel sources reference, through the assistance of spiritual hierarchies and celestial beings.
Yes, the idea of masters, guides, angels, advanced intelligences. Figures like Alice A. Bailey wrote extensively about the externalization of the hierarchy, the idea that these beings are becoming increasingly present and accessible to humanity as we raise our consciousness.
And the avatar of synthesis, the Mahatma, fits here.
Is presented as one such being or presence that became accessible precisely because humanity, collectively, reached a certain point in its evolutionary readiness.
And it's noted that the Mahatma energy became accessible right after the harmonic convergence of 1987.
An event where millions globally participated in synchronized meditations and ceremonies during a significant astrological alignment, often seen as humanity's first large-scale conscious group request for galactic-level assistance.
So the energy was a response to the call.
According to this perspective, the influx of the Mahatma energy was a direct response to that collective call, prophetic lore from various traditions.
Like the Kalki avatar.
Like the Kalki avatar in Hinduism representing the end of the Age of Darkness, Kali Yuga, is also mentioned, seen by some, as aligning with the concept of the coming of the Christ consciousness, or the Mahatma, on a global collective scale.
One source even offers a specific timeline prophecy about 2025.
Yes. The manifestation of global liberation through the reappearance of the Christ, meaning the collective Christ consciousness, is prophesied to occur around 2025, if humanity's collective shift requires such a catalyst.
So this framework suggests a kind of galactic timeline for Earth and humanity's spiritual evolution. If the collective template clearing and upgrade isn't progressing sufficiently by a certain point,
A potential cosmic or divine intervention might trigger a final, irreversible template override.
helping to establish the prophesied Golden Age.
The golden age of purity, co-creation, and abundance. Whether interpreted literally or symbolically, this narrative underscores that we are perceived to be in a critical, accelerated window of opportunity.
The clock is ticking, in a sense.
The current cosmic alignments, energies, and available divine assistance are here to help us purify and clear millennia of accumulated karma and distorted patterns. But it requires our active, conscious cooperation. We are not just waiting to be saved, we are asked to participate.
How do we, as individuals or groups, consciously engage with this galactic level of energy and support? What are the practical steps?
One key way highlighted is through ritual and meditation timed with significant astronomical events. Eclipses, solstices, equinoxes, planetary conjunctions.
Using cosmic timing.
These moments have been revered across cultures and history as sacred times when the veil between dimensions or between Earth and cosmic energies thins and energetic influences are amplified. Modern energy workers and meditation groups often use these precise times for synchronized global meditations and ceremonies aimed at planetary healing and anchoring cosmic light.
The Vedic rishis quote about meditating during eclipses.
Yes. The seers of India advised meditating specifically during eclipses because, in their view, very rare spiritual energies flood our Earth during these events. Consciously attuning your intention during these cosmic windows allows you, according to the source, to ride these powerful waves and distribute their purifying and accelerating benefits.
Astrological magic is also briefly mentioned.
As a way to use knowledge of planetary transits and alignments to consciously invoke specific divine rays or celestial energies for healing and manifestation, like timing intentions for social healing with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in 2020.
What about simpler ways? Not everyone is an astrologer.
A simpler, accessible way the source suggests is simply to go outside under the night sky with an open heart. Many starseeds, intuitives, and sensitives report feeling a profound connection to the Milky Way galaxy or specific star systems like Sirius or the Pleiades.
Receiving guidance or energy.
Guidance or energetic downloads. You can visualize a column of starlight or energy flowing from the galactic center or a star system through your crown chakra and down into Earth, consciously grounding galactic light.
Working with the concept of the great central sun, channeling energy or light language, even if viewed metaphorically,
Are presented as ways to create a resonant field of hope, cosmic connection, and receive insight that can help dissolve fear-based separatist templates. It's about opening to that larger connection.
And this connection to the cosmic scale links back to the idea of global coherence and galactic consciousness.
Yes. Research into global consciousness, like the Princeton Engineering Anomalies research, PAR project, and the Global Consciousness Project.
Or random number generator studies.
Exactly. They found that random number generators showed anomalous non-random patterns during moments of mass human focus or shared emotion, whether positive, like global meditations, or negative, like major tragedies.
What's the implication of that?
This research, while controversial, suggests that collective human consciousness might indeed be able to interface with the fundamental fabric of reality on a planetary scale, potentially even with the quantum vacuum itself.
And the implication is that as humanity awakens, this collective mind might begin to consciously interface with what? Other civilizations, the galaxy itself.
That's the profound extension of the principle presented, interfacing with the consciousness of other star civilizations or even the consciousness of the galaxy itself, the galactic logos.
The galactic logos, the mind of the galaxy.
That's the concept. The Mahatma teaching, for instance, posits that this energy embodies the presence of Melchior, who is described as our galactic logos, essentially, the soul or conscious intelligence of the entire Milky Way.
So invoking the Mahatma is connecting to the galactic mind.
Invoking Mahatma, then, isn't just connecting to Source. It's seen as forging a direct link not only to Earth's higher self, but to the guiding consciousness of our galaxy.
How would one even do that? Meditate on it.
Meditating on connecting with the galaxy's presence, sensing the Milky Way as a living, conscious being of immense wisdom and love can bring profound revelations, shifts in perspective, and help dissolve deep-seated fears and limiting templates.
Seeing unity not just on a planetary level, but on an interstellar one. From that vast galactic perspective, human conflicts, racism, nationalism, they must look different.
Exactly. They appear as fleeting, immature illusions born from a limited state of consciousness, distortions in the collective template that simply don't exist at that higher frequency of galactic unity.
So the galactic level recommendations include attuning to celestial events,
Meditation or ritual during alignments, eclipses, solstices,
photon belt or light-baiting visualizations,
imagining Earth absorbing, purifying crystalline light, activating DNA, neutralizing toxicity.
invoking cosmic assistance,
Calling on the Mahatma for Earth, Archangel Metatron, star energies like Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, always with intention for highest good and free will.
engaging in group astral travels or visioning,
Collectively seeing Earth from space, visualizing healing or installing new light geometry on its aura, quite advanced practices.
and most fundamentally, embracing unity consciousness in daily life.
Cultivating heart coherence, contemplating the scientific implications of interconnectedness and quantum entanglement, sensing the shared consciousness beneath perceived separation, thereby eroding those separation templates.
Engaging at this level means seeing ourselves as conscious ambassadors between Earth and the cosmos.
Opening ourselves to the immense assistance that is said to be available through accelerating energy waves, wisdom from potential extraterrestrial intelligences who operate from higher consciousness, or direct divine intervention when aligned with cosmic will.
It's framed as a grand collaboration.
As we reach up and within, higher forces meet us. Humanity's awakening is seen as part of a much larger galactic awakening.
With Earth serving as a crucial school.
Or node, whose successful evolution benefits the entire galactic family. This perspective imbues our individual and collective efforts with profound meaning, positioning us as active participants in a cosmic drama.
So bringing it all back together then, the source material we explored presents clearing Earth's morphogenetic field as, well, a monumental task.
Huge, but entirely possible according to this view. Achievable through the conscious evolution of human consciousness across individual, collective, and cosmic dimensions.
It suggests we are living through a truly unique moment in Earth's history where ancient wisdom converges with emerging scientific parallels.
Enabling us to become conscious co-creators of our reality.
No longer merely passive recipients of accumulated karma and distorted templates.
We are called to actively choose to deliberately override the outdated programs and collectively write new ones based on principles of love, harmony, unity, and freedom.
On a personal level, this means taking radical responsibility for our own energetic state.
Committing to healing ourselves, mastering our inner world, and consciously connecting daily to our highest self and source.
Each person who does this work becomes, in effect, a more coherent, higher frequency node, a pillar of light in the collective field.
Reducing the density and increasing the overall vibration, one person at a time, matters.
On a collective level, uniting with others in shared positive intention and service, amplifies this effect exponentially,
The scientific findings on collective consciousness studies offer a glimpse into the tangible power of focused unity to influence global patterns.
suggesting that humans, working together consciously, can act as a kind of planetary immune system.
Transmuting energetic toxins and raising the collective vibration of Gaia herself.
And on the galactic level, we are presented with the reality of massive cosmic energies and alignments actively assisting this process.
Accelerating time, creating pressure that helps to crumble stagnant systems and bring hidden distortions to the surface, even if it feels tumultuous sometimes.
Which it certainly does lately. By consciously aligning with these cosmic currents and welcoming assistance from higher dimensions, we ease the birth pangs of a higher dimensional Earth.
Making the transition smoother, hopefully. Tools like the Mahatma energy are highlighted as advanced aids available to us now.
Allowing for levels of personal and planetary healing and acceleration previously unimaginable.
When used with clear intention and unconditional love, that's the key.
Moving forward, the source gently but firmly suggests crafting a personal action plan based on these principles.
Making it practical for your own life.
Incorporating daily practices for self-clearing and alignment, committing to regular group engagement or service that uplifts the collective, and observing or attuning to periodic celestial events.
It's about integrating body, mind, spirit, and energy into a holistic practice, not just one thing.
Journaling synchronicities can help track your progress and awareness, it suggests. And fundamentally, cultivating compassion for yourself and others is key.
As it unlocks the powerful frequency of the heart, which seems central to all of this.
And there are already encouraging signs, aren't there? That this shift is underway and accelerating.
You can see it. Concepts like mindfulness, trauma-informed care, interconnectedness, even discussions of consciousness and subtle energy entering mainstream awareness.
Communities are mobilizing for social and environmental change.
And some scientists are bravely exploring the frontiers of consciousness and quantum biology. This convergence of ancient wisdom and modern inquiry points to the new template already taking form.
One based on the fundamental truth that all life is connected.
And that love is the most powerful transmutative force in the cosmos.
The clearing of Earth's field, then, isn't just about cleansing the past. It's framed as a profound evolutionary rebirth.
It really is. It's about consciously liberating future generations from the burden of inherited, distorted templates, gifting them the freedom to express their true potential.
It's about laying down millennia of collective karmic baggage and, through our conscious effort, bequeathing to those who come after us healed patterns.
Luminous possibilities.
And a planetary field resonant with unity, harmony, and creative love. We are both the midwife and the child in this process.
Helping to birth a new paradigm while simultaneously being reborn into it ourselves. This is presented not just as a task, but as our sacred charge and greatest hope.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. A powerful perspective.
It definitely is. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to ponder. Consider how you might consciously choose to tune in to those higher frequencies, not just in moments of dedicated practice like meditation,
But in everyday life.
but in the smallest, most ordinary moments of your day, in an interaction with another person, in a walk in nature, in a simple breath. And then consider the quiet but potentially profound impact that conscious choice might have on the energetic field we all share.
Weaving just a little bit more light into the collective tapestry.
Exactly. Every little bit helps build that new template.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into clearing Earth's morphogenetic field, exploring these powerful ideas from individual consciousness to cosmic currents. It's been quite the journey.
It really has. We hope this exploration provides you with significant insights and perhaps some inspiration for your own journey, and definitely a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things in this incredible universe we're part of.